Vanishes joining us, respected private investigator working with the Grimm family. You were responding to Andrew, correct? What were you saying?
I was. There was some discussion about the FBI. And when we first got this case, I started going through the original information that had come in from tips and leads from the folks out there that had seen this issue on the news. There were some ransom texts and messages that had come in, and that's what I felt was our best chance of establishing probable cause to get the FBI involved, to get some federal court orders or search warrants or whatever it would take to go after AT&T to get their cell phone cell tower data. When the FBI, so I'll back up there. Coconino, excuse me. So I wrote a search warrant affidavit for that using the ransom and the kidnapping as my crime. Presented that to Coconino, and then found out that they had had a conversation with the FBI previously, and they had reviewed the ransom requests that had come in and determined, based on their training and experience, that these ransom requests were bogus. So they did not feel that they were of value or indicative of a crime occurring. That information then went back to Coconino, and so the sheriff's office felt that when disclosing the fact that the FBI had made a determination on the validity or lack thereof of these ransom requests, that that would have to be turned over to a judge in an affidavit, and that we did not, based on the FBI's findings, we did not have probable cause to seek search warrants based on a kidnapping belief or suspicion.
Got a question for you. Tell me about the ransom notes.
There were a couple of messages that came in, I believe, on Facebook or WhatsApp to one of the tip lines, and demanded money, and that's about what I know about them. They were sent off to the FBI. We are not in possession of any reports from the FBI or any
Well,
information on how they
what did
made
the
that
ransom request
determination.
say?
Something along the lines of requesting money for her safe return.
So asking for money for her safe return, and that was directed to just basically a tip line or an online forum.
It came in on one of our sources via, I believe, a Facebook message or a WhatsApp message.
Was there anything in the ransom request to indicate special knowledge about Chelsea, like where she was, the name of her bearded dragon, something that only the kidnapper would know?
There wasn't, and perhaps that was part of the determination that the FBI made to invalidate the request. Getting information out of an ongoing investigation from the feds is next to impossible.
To Zara Barker joining us, investigative reporter, Fox 5 San Diego. So, Chelsea tells her parents she may not have good cell service while she's camping. They don't hear from her for several days. And her parents report her missing October 4. I want to get back to the shredded tires. If anyone can tell me about the shredded tires, I want to hear about that because that sounds intentional, like they were cut with a knife.
Yeah, it definitely does. And one thing I want to point out too is obviously those tires were flat or shredded. Whatever the case was, that vehicle was not drivable. So at that time, she had no choice but to leave that car. What we don't know is where did she go? And did she go with somebody? I mean, Ash Fork, Arizona, where her vehicle was found, was not a very populated area. There's less than 500 people that live in Ash Fork, Arizona. You would seem to think at this time that they all know who Chelsea Grimm is and have been keeping an eye out for her. Somebody there has to know something because she left her vehicle on her own volition.
I'm curious about the shredded tires. To me, that suggests that it was done on purpose, not that she just ran over a knife, ran over a nail or a piece of glass.